Welcome to the OC Politics Show, keeping politics bipartisan, local, and on the level.
Welcome to the OC Politics Show. I'm Joe Matthews.
And I'm Todd DeVoe.
So, the culture of bashing one another, or is it just a public good? People can make their careers by telling on somebody else whether it's true or not. And now it's time for the political whip around.
Hey, Joe, do you know who Tito Ortiz is?
Yes, I grew up with Tito, not like we were neighbors or anything, but, he was the man. He was the MMA superhero that went around the world kicking butt and lived in Huntington Beach, and we all knew it.
Oh, he's going to run for city council.
Well, good on him. I hope it works out. I mean, he's an imposing man. I mean, it's going to be interesting watching him go.
All right, Joe.
Yeah.
Chapman University faces Rachel.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Chapman University, racial reckoning again in the face of political questioning Kamala Harris's citizenship. Oh, I messed that one up. Sorry.
It's all right. Here we go again with that mess. Okay. Hey, Orange County is off the state coronavirus watch list, allowing for more reopenings.
Westminster School District trustee asked district attorney to review colleagues' eligibility.
Oh man, Joe, let's talk about MMA fighters for a minute. Huntington Beach is, I found out, is full of like really good professional MMA fighters that have gone up through the ranks, and they're kind of known as that town, right? And I mean, I guess they must be like the Philadelphia of MMA, right? Rocky, whatever. Rocky, so he is Tito Ortiz is showing interest in running for city council for Huntington Beach. Now, here's the interesting part about it. He is an outspoken Donald Trump supporter, and he's made a video in May where he has the Trump-Pence Keep America Great 2020 t-shirt on and is out there campaigning, not officially, but for Trump. What do you think of MMA fighters or anybody like that in general running for city council? It's kind of interesting, I think.
So he's officially registered as that deadline just came and went, I think August 9th. I guess we got to research to see if he's actually in the mix or not.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like he has put this on there. This was he at least showed interest. So whether he filed or not at this point, we'll have to find out. But even if he hasn't, all right, let's just say, I mean, realistically, to register to run, all you need to grab is 20 signatures. I think he could probably get that pretty easily. He'll probably have to sign something. You have to sign an autograph back to him or something. But 20 signatures by August 7th to run. Now, even if he doesn't run, he's definitely an imposing figure, both physically and also with a reach, right? I mean, he has fans and so forth and so on. He's well known within Orange County. He's well known within Huntington Beach, and he could become a kingmaker in that sense if he decides not to run and choose to support a city council member. And
he married a porn star.
I thought you said he's divorced from a porn star.
He married. I said he married.
Oh, I got you. So, you know what, man? In today's time and the freedom of what we do, I don't think who you're married to makes a difference anymore.
It does, because he's going to have domestic violence issues when he comes to run for election, because they were heated. I remember, and it's coming to me as we're talking, that they had domestic violence issues going back and forth until they did finally divorce. So that could come and haunt him.
Now, was he ever arrested or convicted of domestic violence?
I cannot state with all certainty that it was that situation, but I knew that was a issue in the past.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting when you start taking a look at people, and when people who choose to run for city council in general, anybody, even if you run for city council, Joe, it's you open yourself up to getting um, dirty laundry aired quickly, and sometimes it's just has been acquisitions or whatever, nothing ever convicted or whatever, and it can ruin you. It's interesting because, like, we in a politics game, they have hit pieces that are created of opposition research and whatnot, and they hold on to these things until last second, so the person running can't defend themselves on it. Now, here's an
I'll
interesting
support you, Todd, but you'll never support me.
here's an interesting thing, though, right? With as far as like this stuff goes, now with the mail-in ballots and things like this is a little off topic, but I'll tell you why. I'll bring it back around. I've been doing mail-in ballots for a while now, and there are times when, especially with like it happened with me with the primary, and the people who I chose, by the time it got to, and I mailed it in, by the time I got to California, they were already quit the race, So sometimes you can vote for something because you get the ballot so early that maybe you voted for Tito Ortiz. Great English this morning. Maybe you voted for Tito Ortiz, and then something comes out about him that you don't like, and your vote's already out there. So, the question between what's the difference between a mail-in and absentee? Absolutely nothing. There's no difference between absentee or mail-in ballots. Just the words that one absentee means that you're going to be out of the city, out of the county, out of the country, for an extended period of time. So you used to have to have a reason to vote absentee. Now they just automatically give it to you. So those are the big differences on that. So anyway, tell me a little bit more about. Do you have any more questions about Tito before we go on?
No, I wish him the best of luck. And, if he wants to come down here, and we should officially invite Tito to our studios, or give him a Zoom link to let him express his views. And I'd be curious to see what he finds important and what in the beach. He can play the rock star, kick-ass MMA guy only so far, but what are the issues that are going to be important to him?
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to have Tito in studio with you, Joe, not with me here or in my studio.
Are you afraid I'm going to get my butt kicked or something?
No, I just want to watch it.
Oh, I bet you do. Joe, inappropriate. Hey, heard about Jenna, didn't go so well. Bam. I'm super flex onto I don't even know what it's called.
Hey, at least you have some padding on your walls. You know what I mean? Over there, you won't hurt as much. If you
kick my butt, just throw me up against this wall behind me. It's padded. Thank you.
Here's somebody who's a little less threatening if we get him on the show. It's the Chapman University professor. Tell me what's going on with that guy.
You mean John Eastman? Oh my gosh. Everyone is like just so embarrassed about this guy. He wrote this nice article in Newsweek. And what he did is he promoted a discredited legal opinion to claim that Senator Kamala Harris, a biracial woman who was born in Oakland in 1964, I believe that's America, to immigrant parents, is not eligible to be vice president of the United States. So most critics have stopped short of calling for Eastman to be fired, but saying that they're also concerned with preserving academic freedom. But the article has spurred a still growing petition signed by faculty members who condemn what they see as a racially motivated attempt to discredit Harris's historic candidacy. They urge that Eastman's article also threatens the progress that Chapman officials believe they have made towards dialing back the school's reputation as an arch conservative, predominantly white institution. Have you ever heard about that reputation, about them being arch conservative, predominantly white?
Well, I mean, Chapman University started off as a Christian college, right? So that, so did a lot of universities, right? So did USC and whatnot. But so I mean, I guess that makes sense. That's why they probably got that reputation of being a arch conservative college. I find it interesting that colleges do eke away from their founding aspects of things, but that's besides the point. But what I do find interesting though is the issue of academic freedom and what can I mean, this guy's a law professor in political science, I think. And
He's a law professor, yeah, from the law
right,
school.
but I think he does. I think he also has a. But anyway, he's a law professor for sure. I know he ran against Kamala Harris, or wanted to run against Kamala Harris, but did not get the Republican nod to run for state attorney general.
They ran in the
So
race, but
say again.
they ran in the same race, but he lost the Republican ticket to her Democratic ticket, and she ended up winning.
Right. So I mean, so I'm sure there's a little animosity there when it comes to political rivals, if you will. But let's think about let's think of academic freedom, because I think what's happening here, and this is, you mentioned in the beginning, this cancel culture, this idea of let's get people fired for ideas, and opinions, and right or wrong, right? I mean, and it seems that this would have a chilling effect on academic freedom. Now, the argument on the other side is that he did not produce this in an academic journal. It was put into a public magazine, which realistically, on the differences between the two, is one has peer review, you read it, there's fact checking and things like this going on. The other one, you just post it, and if the editor of the magazine likes it, they post it, and there's no really review to it. So it didn't meet the academic rigor of debate, right? Is what they're saying on that. But I don't know if you guys do you remember Ward Churchill from Colorado University? Ward still is a very left leaning. I mean, like almost he's self-proclaimed socialist / communist, if you will, and which said all kind of crazy things. As far as like that goes, as far as the idea of against the United States, he was blah 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 blah, right? And a lot of conservatives were really upset with him. And they were saying, hey, he's a tenure professor. He can say whatever he wants to say. A lot of the people on the left came to his support. So now what you're seeing is, again, on the college campuses, you're seeing this divide between those that are on the I'm using left and right. You could whatever you want to say. I know people are getting upset with that definition of things now too, but you have people that are on the left side, right, of the spectrum, the people on the right side of the spectrum, leaving those in the middle kind of to their own devices, right? But they're upset about when somebody comes and says something that is against their general beliefs. And instead of having debate about it, instead of opening the door and saying, hey, professor, let's sit down and discuss your viewpoint and why you think this, their first intention is, let's fire, right? And Ward Churchill, just for that sake, was the same thing. The conservative right wanted him to be fired. He did say, he said some outrageous things, and they went after him to get fired. And I think he actually did losing his job at some point and suing back and forth. But anyway, the point is the idea of having colleges and having these, Chapman University is a nice school. It's a great school, and the ability to have open dialogue in the classroom is important. And if right or wrong, I'm not agreeing with what this guy says. Obviously, the 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States states all persons born or naturalized in the United States, born or naturalized in the United States, are subject to the jurisdiction, therefore, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within the jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So, regardless of the argument that she was born to two immigrants, that who are living here that were not citizens or residents. They might have been residents. I don't think that they were naturalized citizens. It doesn't say that. It just says if you're born here, you are a citizen. So it's I think it's pretty straightforward. If she was born, and I'm assuming that everything is correct on this, that she was born in Oakland, she has a birth certificate, the hospital can say she was, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't think there's a there. Now he could be arguing other things about it. I didn't read his argument. I don't understand it.
Well, legal scholars from across the country, including conservative voices, have quickly refuted Eastman's article, insisting that the 14th Amendment and subsequent case law does not support the fringe theory. Eastman did not write this article in a scholarly journal or raise debate with his students. He published it in a then national magazine and included a reference to unrelated fears about the Russians and the Chinese influencing U.S. politics. So he kind of muddied the waters by not kind of going through the proper channels to be a credible word of reason to a certain degree, and still some Republicans, seized on Eastman's argument to discredit Harris with a resurgence of what's it called again? The birther movement.
Do you remember when Hillary Clinton did that to Barack Obama during the primaries?
No, I don't remember.
Hillary Clinton brought up this idea that Barack Obama was not born in the United States. She floated that. And it's funny because like it caught wind, I guess, if you will, within the conservative movement at some point, and I think at times people just, like I said, that's the one thing with politics is the people will float stuff, lies or not or whatever, and not back it up with anything, and just kind of like walk away from it, just to float it out there, just to see if it can cause any people to have doubts, right? And it's like a trial balloon, if you will, right? And I think it's interesting that when Clinton floated that, and then a couple years later, Trump picked up on that train and got tagged with being the birther guy. But realistically, it was created by political opposition forces, Yeah. So you see a lot of this going on, and it's just interesting to see why that goes that way. But
you had a sense of deja vu again, because during a recent press conference, Trump was asked about this lawyer, and he just says, "Oh, he's a very talented lawyer," and then he skirted off, going any deeper than that, and moving on to the next question. So he did not deny or disagree with Eastman. He just kind of let it go.
So he did the Frozen, let it go, right?
Yeah. So, but anyway, Newsweek has already backed away. They're saying that Eastman's article was being weaponized to perpetuate racism and xenophobia, and the magazine issued an apology on August 14th. That's basically it. Now, the president also did a statement. President Daniel Serpa issued a statement last Monday refusing to either endorse or refute ideas from Eastman or any faculty. Now, that seems like a non-answer. I'm not going to say anything bad, but I'm not going to say anything good. So what do you think about that? Do you think the president could have taken a step up higher and said, Eastman could have overstepped his bounds, or we are strictly going to protect him no matter what, because he is a tenured professor and he deserves all the rights that he deserves. But the fact that it's either or it's
yeah, that's what I'm saying, and it goes back to the concept of academic freedom in colleges. There's this chilling effect across the nation right now when somebody disagrees with what something a professor says, whether it's way off the freaking mark or not. I mean, there's a reason why there's tenured faculty members, right? And how far does it go? I guess the question is on the tenure track. How far does it go to support them, to let them say what they want? I I don't like the idea of killing academic freedom, academic discussion. Now, whether this guy is being vitriol or racist or that, I don't know. I don't know the guy. This is the second time I've heard anything about this man. I couldn't pick him out of a six pack if I had to. So he I couldn't tell you what his state of mind is. I think the president of the college has this balance act to go. Obviously, if the students and the faculty of that college aren't happy with him, but here's a double-edged sword. Double-edged sword here. Once you start removing it from one political view, right? At some point, that pendulum is going to shift. And if you remember, everybody got really pissed off at the McCarthy and the McCarthyism and with Hollywood and the blacklists and all this kind of stuff, right? So much so that some guy who won a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Oscars, who was, a pro McCarthy guy, got booed and they didn't clap for him and they sat on their hands and the Hollywood guys did all this protest against this guy because he felt that he helped perpetuate the blacklist for Hollywood. They are doing that to conservatives now. The pendulum is flowing the other way, and it's okay, right? When I say this is okay, is that those on the left feel that it's okay to blacklist conservative thought, to go after those people who are on that side of the pendulum. And it's interesting to see those that were so upset that socialists and communists were blacklisted out of Hollywood are so eager to put those same conservatives onto a blacklist in Hollywood. And again, I said that at some point the pendulum is going to slide the other way. And I am a pretty moderate guy, right? I look at all sides of an argument, and I try to, at least. I can fail at this at times, and just really stay down that middle line, and look to see where the truth lies. And like I said, I fail. I'm not perfect at anything, and I'm open to learn. But what I see is that the radical fringes on both sides aren't, and they dig themselves, they trench themselves in, and it's them against us. And I don't think any of this is good for the nation. I don't think it's good for academics. I don't think it's good for politics. I don't think it's good for anything. As you know what it's good for? It's good for the CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News to make lots of money, to get their people in the echo chambers, and for them to sell ads to the people that are in those echo chambers. That's what it's good for.
I think it is good for the students themselves, because they're getting to see what is good behavior and what bad behavior is. And their school newspaper, the Panther, did a scathing editorial looking at several administration decisions, and they viewed them as racially insensitive, and they're resigned to believe that nothing will change. That's what they said, that nothing will change. The Black Student Union, is also waiting to hear back from the administration for the 12 demands that they developed over the summer in the wake of racial justice issues. So the college reputation with their own people is doubtful. People are doubting their degrees, or doubting the reputation of the college itself because of the actions of this person, even if it is a political or a constitutional right to say what the heck he wants to say.
It's not even about the Constitution at this point. Constitutional rights are one thing. Speech. But even the free speech stuff. Obviously, if you bring discredit to the university or to the job that you have on in a negative way, it's okay for that private entity to sever relationships, right? I mean, maybe at this point, maybe there's a conversation where if this brings enough discredit to the university, where the college does ask him to step down. My argument here isn't about this individual guy necessarily. Again, the students calling for him to be fired or for him to step down or resign due to his statements. Again, it's a chilling effect. I think that we have this across. I mean, realistically, you have to be careful on what you say, right?
There
Today.
there is a change.org petition.
Oh, I'm
and
sure there is.
There are already 300 people that have signed up, hopefully to get more of the faculty to do so. So,
yeah, I they do what they got to do. You know what I mean? But we're moving to a point to where I don't like you, Joe, and so I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get you fired. That's where we're at. You don't like this guy's politics.
I don't know. The timing is just like so perfect. Like they announce who she is, and then boom, out comes this article. And here's a guy that ran against her, and nobody believes in what a lot of scholars don't favor what he's done.
Oh, I think it's good. I think it's completely off the mark.
He didn't go through the proper channels to even have a scholarly journal to kind of lay out his case. So to me, he doesn't come off strong to even defend those kinds of views, even though I want to get him fired.
I don't think what he wrote was completely off the mark. I'm not obviously. I didn't read the article completely for what I know of it, and if he's attacking the 14th Amendment, her citizenship, or her, I mean, she was born here in the United States. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're born in the United States or born in American territory, you're an American. Yeah. It's just out, hands down, right?
Right.
Guam, Saipan, Puerto Rico, you're an American citizen. You're an American citizen. You get American passports. It's awesome. Right. God bless USA. But at the time when for him to write this off base or whatever, and again, you see people on the left write some ridiculous things, and that's not. I hate the idea of them too or me too or blah blah blah. Back and forth. What aboutism? We talk about this on its own. The guy wrote something that people disagree with. They don't agree with his politics, and because I don't agree with his politics, it's time for him to get fired. I don't know. I just that's not a world that is a safe place to live in. Talk about safe places. If you don't have the ability to say things, and again, I mean, like sometimes you say as a professor, I will ask questions that I don't necessarily agree with the premise of the position, but I'll ask that question in class to spur on debate, right? To spur on conversation, to spur on academic thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our job, right? That's what I get paid for. I get paid to have students break out of their bubble and think globally on things, and to think about things, and to have conversation about things, and to explore, right, and debate and come, and that's what we get paid to do. And now whether this guy is where's this a family friendly show, so there's words I can't say, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know, but does he deserve to get fired over? That's the question this way. Is this something that you deserve to get fired over? Does this guy deserve to lose his ability to feed his family and to pay his mortgage over this?
Well, nowhere do you find anywhere where it says admonish or tap him on the head that says, "Hey, don't do that again."
They said this called for the removal or resignation.
They're going right to it. I mean, they're going right to it without kind of a warning, unless this guy's been a problematic person in the past that's done it before, that has shown these kind of xenophobic, racist, sexist kind of tendencies in his writings. Who knows? But I didn't see the a midway point. You know, I just saw go right to the firing. So I agree with you there.
Right. Well, Joe, talk about being fired. I think that we should go right talk about the Westminster School District.
Okay. All right. Well, guess what happened? Now we were talking about bashing each other. Well, Trustee Jameson Power has asked officials to move expeditiously with an investigation into whether a colleague committed voter fraud. Now, Francis Nunez, let me see. Francis Nunez, I'm going to show you this picture, Todd. You tell me, is that a glamour shot? Is that I love the OC. I love the OC register, but this is the picture that kind of kicks off this article about Francis Nunez, who is being accused of vacating and is ineligible to hold the position of trustee. Jameson wrote this letter to his fellow board members, District Superintendent Cindy Park, and District Attorney Todd Spitzer. So in late June, after Power decided that he was not going to seek a third term, guess who moved in his neighborhood?
She did.
Francis Nunez. So, but Francis Nunez kind of didn't move into the neighborhood. She moved into a house that was just kind of outside of the limit, right? Like one street over from the border. And I don't know if that was intentional or she didn't mean to, but that's what kind of happened. And that's what kind of sparked these things. Now, Nunez has since moved, but she moved now to an uncontested area 4. So it's the intention of Jameson that this girl was out for 6 weeks and she collected a paycheck. Hold on a second. So she was out for six weeks looking for a place to live. And then now she's finally found a place to live and they want to get her for voter fraud.
Right.
I mean, if you're looking, she was moving around because one, she was trying to find a cheaper place to live. Her business was suffering because of the COVID, so she was trying to cost save. So she was looking for an apartment. She did find one, and the owner of it came back in a news article saying she never did move in here, and that was the one that was across the street from another school district that wasn't in the right school district.
Right. Okay.
That house. The gentleman that owned that house said she never rented here, so she was probably couch hopping for those 6 weeks, and now because Jameson is going after her in a sense, and nobody else is going after her. Do you think if 6 weeks you shouldn't get paid, or because of the situation you should get voter fraud?
Well, I mean, it depends on where her residency was, right? So if she's not sitting a residency in any of those places, if she maintained her residency within Westminster School District, right? In other words, like if you went away for a couple of weeks, doesn't necessarily mean that you change your residency, right? I mean, you have to go through, change your address, you have to change your there's a process, right? Get your driver's license changed, all that kind of stuff. So if she did not move her residency, then she's not guilty of voter fraud.
Well, she did actually 3 days before the deadline did find a place within the district, and that was District 4, which made her run uncontested. Now, the reason why everyone's kind of sensitive is because, and we're putting them on the watch list, ladies and gentlemen. That's right.
Are we putting her on the watch list or putting the Westminster School District?
Westminster School District, because this is not the first time this has happened. On July 31st, the Orange County District Attorney filed 3 felony charges against Xavier Nunez, which I don't think there's a relationship there, claiming that he used fraudulent address to run the office 2 years ago. Xavier Union announced his resignation on August 13th board meeting. So you got some problems with Westminster.
No,
Money problems, city manager problems, and now you have school district problems.
man, what is going on with Westminster? That whole city has been on the watch list for a couple of weeks now.
I just want to know if they figure 6 weeks is enough, to warrant felony, or it's just a matter of circumstances. Or did she move to that place, right, and find out that she was in the wrong place at the wrong time and she was going to get popped, and she decided to back out, and then she's moving on to something else?
Again, this is a political ploy. I think that her political rivals are looking at a way to silence somebody again and using these tactics. And that's what at the end of the day, and my same statement goes back, we have to take a look at what people are doing, what their mindset is. I mean, fraud is there's a mindset associated with it, and anyway, let's see where it goes. I'm interested.
Jameson's hide that he retires from the board, and then I guess a rival on the board moves down the street from his house. Uncontested. And she's board president. So,
well, we'll see how that plays out. And since they're on the watch list,
and they have a glamour shot. So
you had to see that shot in color. It's amazing. Just
the white pops. With the park.
It's all crooked though. It's like
it's fancy. It's fancy.
I love the fact that our photographer friend said, "Oh, couldn't they even just adjust it so it's straight?" I think that was the artistic aspect of it there, Brian. That they wanted it crooked, but interesting stuff for sure. So, Joe, what you got going on? What's coming up?
Just getting ready for some schoolwork. I'm taking a couple of classes at UCI, and I'm busy studying this weekend. Wish me luck. The finals are coming. That's awesome. Great stuff.
I mean, for us moving forward, tomorrow I have business continuity today, and we're going to be discussing supply chain. Yes, the supply chain. And
I think we should tell them that we're going to be changing our days.
Oh yeah, go ahead, talk about that.
Well, starting probably next week, we'll be going on Fridays. Do we have a time, Brian? Do we have a time yet that we decided on? But we're gonna be moving from Mondays to Fridays once a week, and it's gonna be the same show, but just a different atmosphere, different feel. We don't have a time yet, so we'll let you know. We'll let you know on our website when it's coming, because you're gonna have plenty of notifications. But that's what we get.
I mean, Fridays, looking forward to Fridays, I mean, ending the week with politics instead of beginning the week with politics. I think it's kind of lets you get into the awesome weekend that's happening. And I'm excited about the Friday move, Joe. I think that's going to be great. Joe, exciting news. And, so Fridays, looking forward to it. So awesome. Roll the music, maestro. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here at the OC Politics Show. And we will see you on Fridays here starting up shortly. And don't forget, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, your favorite podcast player. I want to thank Joe Matthews, my co-host, for the work he puts into this program. It's unbelievable. And for producer Brian Colburn for doing all the back end stuff. And without him, we couldn't have the show that we're having today. And please, again, send us in your information. If there's something that you want to cover in Orange County, specifically political, love to have you.
Come on, Tito, give us a call, man. Give us a call, Tito.
Tito, give us a call. I'll see you guys on Friday.